Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Always.
This time we're heading to Middle-earth to unravel the mystery surrounding Arwen Evenstar.
An excellent choice.
And, you were smart to send in both the books and the film adaptations.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, how her story unfolds, well, there's some fascinating differences there.
Definitely.
So to really get into this, we need to dig into her past.
Absolutely.
Her lineage.
Right.
Decode that evocative nickname, Evenstar, and figure out what Tolkien was really doing with this powerful character.
Yeah.
Because, everyone just kind of sees her and they're like, oh, Aragorn's love interest.
Right. Exactly.
And there's so much more to it.
Oh, so much more.
So are you ready to go beyond the surface, see Arwen in a whole new light?
I am so ready. Let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
So I think what we often overlook with Arwen is that she embodies this incredible tension.
Okay.
This impossible choice.
Okay.
Between these two worlds that she's a part of.
Right.
On the one hand, she's elven royalty.
Oh, yeah.
Elrond's daughter.
Come on. That's, yeah.
Galadriel's granddaughter.
Yeah, big shoes to fill.
Steeped in this ancient magic and the lure of immortality.
It's like, talk about a legacy. It's like being born into a fading dynasty. You feel the weight of the past on your shoulders, for sure.
Precisely. But, and here's the other hand,
Okay.
Arwen's family line also carries the legacy of choosing a mortal life.
Oh, wow.
Of becoming human rulers in this changing world.
Okay.
Her ancestors literally bridged the gap between elves and men.
Yikes.
And that duality is at the core of who she is.
Okay, so we have this epic lineage.
Right.
And then Tolkien throws in this nickname, Evenstar.
Yes.
And, it's beautiful, evocative.
Yeah.
But what's the deeper meaning there?
Well, think about it this way. The evening star is that last glimmer of light before darkness falls.
Okay.
Right. And it's a poignant image, especially when you consider the larger context of Tolkien's world. The elves, with their ancient magic, they are slowly fading from Middle-earth.
Right.
Sailing west as the dominion of men begins.
Right.
Arwen, with this nickname, Evenstar, becomes a symbol of this transition.
Okay.
This bittersweet passing of an age.
Wow. I've honestly never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
She's carrying, it's the weight of her entire race on her shoulders, caught between this fading past and this uncertain future.
Right, exactly.
And then she chooses mortality for love.
And this is where her story, I think, transcends the typical fairy tale romance.
Okay.
Because Arwen's not just choosing Aragorn, she's choosing a destiny
Right.
that will irrevocably alter the course of Middle-earth.
Wow. Okay.
She's choosing the world of men with all of its complexities and uncertainties over this fading beauty of the elven realm.
Right. And you can really see this choice amplified in the movies, even though, they definitely take some creative liberties. We know that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they really play that up.
Yeah. And I think it's important to recognize that in the books, Arwen is more of a presence.
Okay.
A subtle force guiding events from the sidelines.
Okay.
But in the films, she's thrust into the action,
Right.
She's saving Frodo, wielding a sword.
Right.
Very different from her book counterpart.
Very different. So it's like, it's a stark contrast.
It is.
And it makes you wonder, does this more active role, does it make her a stronger character?
Right.
Or does the book's portrayal of Arwen's, quiet behind-the-scenes influence, does that speak to a different kind of strength?
Right, exactly.
This more subtle form of feminine power that Tolkien was exploring.
It really makes you think, because on the one hand, seeing Arwen take charge on screen, it's undeniably empowering, especially for viewers who don't always get to see that kind of strength from a female character.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's also, a certain quiet strength.
Right.
To the book version, this idea that her power operates on a deeper level.
Right, and maybe even like a more ancient level, because it's elven magic, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, it's old and it's powerful, but it's quiet and it's behind the scenes.
And it's her wisdom, right? It's Arwen's wisdom and her resilience.
Yes.
But also this willingness to embrace this unknown future.
Yes, of men.
Of men, exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's really, I think, where the heart of her story lies.
Okay.
Regardless of the medium.
Okay.
It's about the courage to choose.
Okay.
To sacrifice.
Right.
And to shape a destiny that is bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It's about the bittersweet beauty of love and legacy.
Right, yeah.
How those themes are so intertwined in Tolkien's world.
Right. And speaking of choosing love and legacy, we have to talk about the romance that drives so much of Arwen's story. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. And we are back, diving deep into Arwen's story. Before the break, we were talking about this, her monumental choice, right?
Right.
Choosing love, choosing mortality, choosing a destiny that is totally intertwined with Aragorn and the future of Middle-earth.
Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is, because her love story isn't just, a personal affair.
Right.
It's really deeply connected with the fate of Middle-earth. And Tolkien, master weaver of myth that he is, he even ties it back to one of his most enduring tales.
Okay.
You remember Luthien?
Oh, yes. Tolkien's original elf princess who gives up immortality for love.
Exactly.
Talk about setting a precedent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Arwen's journey, it directly echoes Luthien's choice.
Okay.
Choosing a mortal man and accepting the sorrow that comes with it.
Right.
It adds this whole other layer of significance.
Okay.
Suggesting that Arwen's choice isn't just her own, but it's part of this larger tapestry, a recurring theme of love and sacrifice.
Wow.
That just echoes throughout Tolkien's world.
It's amazing how he does that, like how he layers like these echoes of the past onto his characters. It's incredible. But okay, so we see her making this monumental choice in both the books and the movies, although her portrayal does differ quite a bit. So how do those differences affect the narrative, would you say?
Well, I think in the books, there's a quiet power in how Arwen operates mostly behind the scenes.
Okay.
Her influence is subtle,
Right.
yet it's undeniable. She's weaving banners of war, healing Frodo with her elven magic, even counseling her father Elrond.
It's like it's this unspoken understanding that while men might be on the front lines, the women in Tolkien's world are the strategists.
Yes.
The keepers of hope. You know, those forces that are shaping destiny, but they're doing it from the shadows.
Precisely. But in the movies, we see Arwen taking this much more visibly active role.
Oh, yeah?
Right. She confronts the Nazgul at the Ford of Bruinen, saving Frodo with this display of raw power.
Well, yeah,
it's
fine.
visually stunning and definitely makes an impact.
Oh, I remember, yeah. That scene is incredible, the way she just rises up against these terrifying creatures. It's empowering.
It is.
Especially for, I think for female viewers who don't always get to see that kind of strength on screen, especially in like a fantasy epic.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's important to acknowledge how meaningful that change can be for some audiences.
Right.
But even though the presentation is different, both versions ultimately underscore the same fundamental truth about Arwen.
Which is?
Her courage to choose.
Okay.
Whether she's wielding a sword or weaving a banner,
right,
she's actively shaping the fate of Middle-earth.
Right. And so it's not even necessarily like, oh, this makes her stronger or winter as a character. It's just showing the different ways that she's strong.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so crucial to understanding her. Her love for Aragorn, it isn't a weakness.
Right.
It's the very thing that drives her to embrace a future.
Right.
Where she knows she will face immense loss.
And that's where we get into like the bittersweet heart of Tolkien's writing, right?
Yes.
Like it's not all triumphant endings and happily ever afters.
It's true.
There's a sense of melancholy, even tragedy woven into Arwen's story.
It's true. And this is where Tolkien's appendices,
yes,
as always, add another layer of depth.
Of course.
They give us these heartbreaking glimpses into Arwen's life after Aragorn's death.
Right.
This grief, the slow fading, the finality of her choice laid bare.
It's like he gives us this epic romance, this powerful love story that like defies even death, and then reminds us that time, even for someone like Arwen, marches on.
Relentlessly.
It does. It's relentless.
It is. It's this poignant reminder that even in a world of magic and immortality, there's a natural order to things. This cycle of life and death that binds even the most extraordinary beings. And yet, within that cycle, there's also this enduring beauty of recognition that love and sacrifice leave their own kind of immortality.
Wow. Yeah. It's a lot to grapple with.
It is.
But it's what makes Tolkien's work so, like, timeless and resonant, right? This constant interplay of joy and sorrow, hope and despair, the grand sweep of history colliding with the intimate moments of love and loss.
You're exactly right. It's as if Tolkien is saying, yes, there will be darkness. Yes, there will be loss.
Yeah.
But even in the face of that, choose love, choose courage, choose to leave your mark on the world.
And in Arwen's case, that mark is about It's not about conquering armies or wielding ultimate power. It's about bridging these two worlds, these two races on the brink of this new era. It's about this quiet heroism of choosing hope,
Yeah.
choosing a future where elves and men might find some measure of peace even as the world changes around them.
And that brings us to a really intriguing question. What does Arwen's story, particularly her choice and its consequences, tell us about Tolkien's view of the future?
Right.
Is it purely hopeful,
Right.
or is there a tinge of sadness for what's being left behind?
Now that is a question.
It is.
And to unpack it further, we need to delve a bit deeper into the symbolism of Arwen as the Evenstar, that last glimmer of light in a fading age.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm really interested to unpack this idea of Arwen as the Evenstar, because I feel like we just scratched the surface before the break.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a key to understanding this whole question of Tolkien's vision. Right.
Right. So remind me again, where did we leave off? What's the significance of that nickname?
Well, we were talking about the evening star being that last glimmer of light before nightfall.
Okay, yeah, a symbol of like something beautiful fading away.
Right, but what I'm suggesting is there's more to it.
Yeah.
Because think about it. The evening star, yeah, it signals the end of day, but it heralds the coming night.
Oh, okay.
It's a transition?
A time of mystery and beauty in its own right.
Okay, so you're saying Arwen, as the Evenstar, isn't just about the elves fading, but also what might come after.
Exactly. It's like she embodies both the bittersweet sorrow of an ending and the hopeful anticipation of a new beginning.
Okay.
And by choosing mortality, she's stepping into that unknown future alongside humanity.
That makes me think about how Tolkien always portrays the elves. They're often seen as these almost untouchable beings, tied to this ancient magic of Middle-earth, but also kind of removed from the struggles of men.
You've hit on a key point. The elves, they do have this kind of melancholy about them, the sense that their time in Middle-earth it's drawing to a close.
Right, yeah.
And Arwen, by choosing a mortal life, she's embracing the world that men will inherit.
Right, the world where magic is fading.
Exactly, but new possibilities are emerging.
It's almost like she's a bridge then.
Yes.
Between two eras, carrying the wisdom and the legacy of the elves into a future where they won't be present.
A poignant thought, isn't it? She represents the merging of these two bloodlines, but also this passing of an age, this inevitable flow of time that even Tolkien's most powerful characters, they can't escape.
And it's really driven home, I think, when you think about the ultimate fate that he reveals in the appendices.
Oh, yes.
Like, despite this grand romance and her becoming queen, there's that heartbreaking image of Arwen after Aragorn's death, fading away in Lothlorien, almost like a whisper of what once was.
It's classic Tolkien, that bittersweetness. He gives us this glimpse of ultimate victory, the reunited kingdom, and yet he reminds us that even in victory, there is loss.
Yeah.
Even for someone as extraordinary as Arwen, time takes its toll.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder then, was Tolkien ultimately hopeful about this future that he was writing about? The elves are fading, men are taking over. Was this progress in his mind or something tinged with a sense of loss?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
And I think it speaks to the enduring power of Tolkien's work, is that he doesn't give us easy answers.
He really doesn't.
He leaves us with this space to ponder, to really grapple with these big questions about time and change and legacy and the sacrifices we make for love.
He gives us a lot to think about.
He does.
But I think that's why we keep coming back to Middle-earth, right?
Absolutely.
To explore these complex themes and to find new meaning in these stories that we think we know, but, there's always more to uncover.
There is. And Arwen's journey, I think, as we've seen, it's a microcosm of so much of what makes Tolkien's world so captivating.
Yeah.
She's this character who invites us to look beyond the surface, to consider the weight of history, the power of choice, and this bittersweet beauty of a world that's in constant flux.
Well, this has been quite the deep dive. We've explored Arwen's lineage, we've decoded her symbolic nickname, we've looked at how her story plays out differently in the books and the films, but most importantly, I think, we've really uncovered this deeper significance of her choices and what they tell us about Tolkien's grand vision for Middle-earth.
It's been fantastic. And for all of you listening, I hope this encourages you to revisit Arwen's story with fresh eyes.
Yeah, she's so much more than just the love interest.
Exactly. She's a symbol of an age, a bridge between worlds, and a testament to this enduring power of choice and sacrifice.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we will leave you with this final thought. If Arwen represents this merging of elves and men, what does her story, with all of its complexities and bittersweet moments, what does it tell us about the world that Tolkien envisioned? Is it a world defined by what's been lost, or by the hope of something new being born? Keep that question in mind as you wander back into Middle-earth.
Yes.
Until next time, happy reading and keep diving deep.